Beit received an MA in Somatic Counseling Psychology in 2013, serves Boulder County as the LGBT Program Specialist for Elder Rights, developing Rainbow Elders programming and offering project visibility trainings that support inclusive practices for those who provide services to older adults. Beit's title is Aging Out, advocating for the dignity, respect, and safety of LGBTQ elders. Please welcome Beit Gorski to the stage.
Hello, Naropa. So, hi. In a very Naropa way, I'd like to invite you to start with me by taking a big, deep breath together. One more, but some noise on the exhale, yeah? Yeah, that's the good stuff, yeah. So, as you continue breathing slowly and deeply, I'd like you to think of someone in your life, past or present, who really accepts you for who you are. It can be a human, another species, a deity, just someone in your life in whose presence you really feel beheld with love and acceptance. And as you take another deep breath with me in just a minute, I want you to really tap into what does it feel like in your body to be beheld with love and acceptance. Maybe they don't like everything you say or do, but the core of who you are is cherished. So we'll take one more big breath together, lots of noise on the exhale, and just feel what it feels like in your body to be loved and accepted. That's the good stuff. That's what we are working towards and moving towards, hopefully, every day and in every way. So, most of us are familiar with this symbol, yeah? Safe space for lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender folks. This symbol says you are safe here. Not as many of us are familiar with the origins of this symbol. A few of our LGBT elders remember. In the Weimar Republic in the 1920s and 30s in Germany, there were a lot of thriving art, science, and intellectual scenes. And among that kind of thriving population, especially in Berlin, there were multiple LGBT clubs, bars, and community centers that were springing up. And general public acceptance was really slowly but gradually getting to be a part of the everyday experience. By 1938, the Nazis had taken power and had decided to use a symbol to indicate certain people were undesirable in society. And for the Jewish folks, that was a yellow star of David. Anyone with a special symbol indicated they were an undesirable person in society was ushered, steered, and forced into camps where they endured medical experimentation, torture, forced labor, and ultimately death. The undesirables that were convicted of the crime of homosexuality under paragraph 175 were given the symbol of an upside-down pink triangle. That's a symbol that you can see now on safe zone signs, t-shirts, tattoos, posted on posters in classrooms, placed in storefronts. And the reason why that came about is in 1989, there's a group called GLUE, Gay Lesbian Urban Explorers. I love that name. GLUE. And GLUE decided to reclaim this triangle as a symbol of empowerment, as a symbol of pride for gays, lesbians, bisexuals, and transgender folks. So as that developed, they also put a green circle around the triangle to indicate universal acceptance. This wasn't just for one particular program, one particular school, one particular church. Universal acceptance. It's a beautiful sentiment. It's a powerful image and a powerful message. Sadly, in 2008, researchers Alvarez and Schneider found that in the presence of this symbol, or these safe zone signs, the lived reality of LGBTQ safety is actually less than in the absence of the symbol. I know, isn't that heartbreaking? And it just really highlights yet again, intention, no matter how beautiful, doesn't equal impact. Yeah. So good afternoon. My name is Beit Gorski, and as you heard, I work for the Elder Rights Division in Boulder County. I serve LGBTQ elders, or older adults. We do social services and programming for the Rainbow Elders, as we call them, and also I do project visibility trainings for the providers, services to those elders. I have never approached a training with any doubt in my mind that most of us have the strong intention to co-create safety for each other. I've never walked into a training with anything less than a certainty that everyone in that room is invested, dedicated, and interested in growing LGBT safety in the world. But what does it mean? What does it mean to actually create lived reality safety for LGBTQ elders in community? These lovely folks, these LGBT older adults, they bring more. They bring more issues and they bring more assets to their homes, their communities, their churches, their families, their residential facilities. They bring more. And they deserve the consideration it requires to maintain and preserve their basic safety and dignity. For us to begin to understand the complexity of what it means to actually create that safety, I would like to talk to you about heteronormativity. You knew where I was going with this, didn't you? Oh, heteronormativity. So, for those of you who don't know, heteronormativity is the story of normal. And this is literally the picture of heteronormativity. Every day we see this image, concept, idea, it's sold to us. It's used to sell us products, it's used to advance legislation, it's used to steer policies, and whether intentional or not, implicit or explicit, the impact is often on the youth that it's setting a roadmap for normal. It's setting a roadmap for what is the successful, moral, worthwhile adult lifestyle. And it looks good, right? I mean, they got chocolate cake and everything. Can we agree that chocolate cake is delicious? Can we? Yes. Even if it's gluten-free, it's delicious. But what if there was only chocolate cake? Oh, there's not. Isn't that good news? The good news is there's not just chocolate cake. There's Tutti Frutti sponge cake. There's red velvet cake. And if you want to get really kinky, there's ice cream cake. Mix it up a little bit. That's the good stuff. So when we challenge heteronormativity, and I hope that we are all challenging heteronormativity in every day in every way that we can, we're not challenging these fine folks and their chocolate cake. We are celebrating the chocolate cake. We just want to expand the story to include everyone, to include all of the beautiful, normal, natural variants of humanity, so that we all have a place and a position in the story of normal, so that all of our youth can look up and see a future that involves them living a successful, worthwhile adult life. So let's go back to our history lesson for just a moment. Being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender is not anything new, and I hope that we know that. How visible we are, how accepted we are, how celebrated we are, how safe we are, that depends on a lot. That can change very quickly. Every person in these photographs know how very quickly and fleeting that can change one direction or another, often with life and death consequences. Someone born in 1938, on that very first day, the first time a Nazi soldier put a pink triangle on the very first criminalized homosexual. Someone born on that day would have been in their mid-30s during the Stonewall riots. They would have been in their mid-30s when the American Psychological Association finally took homosexuality off of the list of mental disorders. That was the 70s. That person born on that first day, when that first pink triangle was applied, would have been 44 the first time they heard about GRID, gay-related immune deficiency, known now as HIV/AIDS. And that person would be 79 years old today. We often refer to nowadays as progressive, inclusive, we're really making advances, boy, isn't it good we don't live in the dark ages. But that 79-year-old likely remembers a different timeline. That 79-year-old might remember times that seemed more progressive until they weren't. Just before we were driven into camps, much like the camps for gay men and women in Russia here and now today. So think of the global, national, and local changes that our LGBT elders in Boulder County have witnessed and experienced across their lifetimes. You can see, once you start digging into our history, once you start talking to the elders that are still here and generous enough to spend time with us, brave enough to stay out with us, you can see that LGBT lives run in separate, if parallel, rhythms to heteronormativity. And that includes aging. We don't age the same. We age differently. So end-of-life considerations that we all must consider, regardless of our gender or sexuality. Things like living wills, assisted living resources, kind of a life review, the meaning-making that we need to do when we hit the end of life. All those things are true for LGBT folks as well. But we have to include and expand the specific issues and concerns. We have to learn to be more visibly inclusive. We have to learn how to give those indications that lets these folks know that even though they were out and proud and fighting for their whole lives, they don't have to go back into the closet to access basic services like housing, medical services, a coffee group, a grieving group. So we really have to do the work of figuring out, and it's not easy work. I'm sorry, I don't have any 5 easy points today. I wish I did. We have to do the difficult work of scraping through and rediscovering what it means to co-create safety in our communities. For these folks, we have to do better. We have to do better, and we can. I think we can do it. I think we can unpack what this truly means to make the safety that older adults need if they're lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. I think we can do that. And I want to let this symbol, I don't want to take down this symbol because of that study that says, hey, the safety might not be as much as if the symbol wasn't there. I want the symbol to stay up, but I want it to serve as a reminder. I want you, every time you see this symbol, I want you to remember the history of where the symbol comes from. I want you to remember what we've been through, what we're going through. And I want you to remember to look ahead to where we're going next. What needs to happen now? And now what can I do? And now what can I do? And now what can I do to make better, more lasting, sustainable safety for LGBTQ elders? Locally, we have the award-winning Project Visibility program, which trains service providers. We're also working on expanding some of the social programming to connect LGBT elders. But we need the whole community. We need the community itself, the larger community, to wake up to our neighbors, to wake up to our own assumptions, and to make the progress that we need to make to truly live in an inclusive and safe community for all of our members. I want us to live in a community that doesn't just include, honestly. Inclusivity, it's a word that kind of puts me on edge at times. It's a good start. But I don't want to live in a community that includes me when I become an elder. I want to live in a society and in a community that includes, celebrates, supports, and honors who I am as my full self. And I don't want to have to think about if I need to hide part of myself in order to access my basic needs. And I think we're capable of that, don't you think? Yes, I think we can make a community here in Boulder County. I think we can create a conscious community that really celebrates lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender elders, youth, and us middle-aged folks, and everyone in between. I think we can do this, and I invite you to join me in constantly looking for more ways to increase all of those services and all of the love and acceptance that we can for each other. Thanks for your time today.